Okay. Not a lot of carbon on this map is what we're seeing in particular. There's some. There's also not a lot of aluminum. The aluminum is kind of usable. There's actually a really nice aluminum spot right there. I'm almost tempted to try and go scavenger this game, because there is not a lot of carbon going on. I can kind of get a spot that will work long term, I think. That has decent access to all resources except for iron. Not good access necessarily, but decent. So I'm tempted by that. Other options are to drop scientific down in this corner and just work with water. Drop expansive here. There's not a lot of silicon either. This is so crazy. And then there's one geothermal vent right there. Not a huge deal, but definitely an important thing. So everybody is so terrified of debt these days. Okay. So we're going to do that. Hopefully this will work out for us exactly like we want it to. We're going to go ahead and sell out of the silicon and iron immediately. If we get this tile, I will be okay with things, and I think we're going to get it. So this guy, he's grabbed up all the silicon, so we're going to want to watch for silicon auctions, and we're going to need to be careful about glass prices in particular. We did get the aluminum that Bradbury wanted to take from us, so that's nice. Just one little high aluminum tile. Let's see. Clark has taken the other aluminum, whereas Herbert just went straight to steel. Are you taking the other aluminum? No, you're not. Interesting. Unfortunately, I made the mistake of not buying up aluminum immediately, so now I'm going to have to wait for these shipments to come in. What I may do is just sell down a bunch of carbon and buy up enough glass for almost 2 expansions immediately. Herbert's already expanded, no big surprise. He is still a scientist. He bought up aluminum immediately, like you kind of have to. I didn't take advantage of my slightly faster found than everybody else. Bradbury also expanding, once again, scientific, no big surprise there. As long as he bought up the aluminum that he needs. What we're going to try and do is basically leapfrog ourselves up to HQ level 3 as fast as we can. This guy, is this going for this aluminum tile right here? I don't know if that's a good idea. Was that Herbert? Herbert going for that aluminum tile right there. Alright. No mutiny available, unfortunately. A mule could actually be kind of useful right now. I'll take a mule. I don't know exactly how much it's worth, though. I think we might push to 14 and then call it good. That might not even be worth 14, but I want to experiment with this and see if I can make it work. So we got the mule. And we'll just try and use that to get that aluminum that we're going to want to go ahead and accelerate
I just need to locate some spare parts
through these levels. Okay, so we kind of want some decent water. That spot will work okay, I think. We need to be concerned about silicon. I guess there is decent silicon up here. I could even just take those two. Maybe plan on some glass. For the time being. I could just take one of them. That kind of keeps everybody else out of that market long term, hopefully. I could just buy up a bunch of glass right now, even. I don't know what the long-term play with that would be, though. I don't really want to sell out of my glass. I might want to push to a claim, but claims are a bit expensive. Oh, good. This is happening. This is what I get for not claiming this tile. I should have just claimed it. I've got one claim left. Throw down the water pump, I guess. I could just put down some power fairly easily. Power's not great because this guy's in it, but it can still be made to work okay. We've got silicon coming in, so even... Ooh, that's bad solar power, though. Okay, well... 0.9 solar power. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Still might go ahead and do it. Yeah, whatever. We're just going to put it down. As that last tile. This is so infuriating. It's understandable. It's a good play. I should have done something about it and just claimed the tile. But I'm probably losing this one. I've been pretty slow to get to some of the buys that I've needed to be quick to get to. Like, claims are already 6,000. I haven't gotten a single one yet. I haven't managed to push to HQ level 3 kind of like I wanted to yet. It's just in a bad way. Sell down a little bit of this silicon. do I want to try and buy a claim off the black market, or do I just want to upgrade? I think I'm just going to upgrade.
It's done in a jiffy.
Go ahead
I
and
just
take
need
that
to
other
locate some
silicon
spare
tile.
parts.
Maybe try and get into a little extra power before long. Aluminum's alright. We're only making 0.2, but that's okay. Two aluminum's kind of okay.
Colony expanded.
I'm almost looking at glass. Like, glass is kind of decent. It's not good, but it's acceptable. I also want a little more solar power, though.
4,000, 6,000, 7,000, 9,000.
So here comes our mule, I think. I think this is our mule coming back. I wonder if anybody can knock that out of the sky with a magnetic storm. That would be ridiculous, by the way. Like, mules are already bad enough. If you could do that, that would be insane. Let's see. We have the most debt out of anybody because we took that mule earlier. So we're avoiding this auction. Just going to see what we can do without it. So what is this going to look like when it pops on in? No, that wasn't even the mule. That was just, okay, that was just 20. So it's still going back and forth. That's fine, I suppose. Let's see, I think we need 60 for this upgrade. We'll go ahead and get down one glass furnace, I suppose. I mean, it's bringing us in some money, right? The mule's working out okay. It's just not very good. It's okay. It's not very good. Got to another claim, which lets us easily get down another glass furnace. Kind of a big deal. And those adjacency bonuses, obviously. But we're still making decent money on the aluminum. The silicon's okay, too. If we could, it would be fantastic in a lot of ways, I think, to push to one more claim. They're expensive, but potentially worthwhile. We are making enough money, I think, to pull it off. And even if we're not, we have almost a complete supply chain to upgrade. All we're missing is kind of like a little bit of oxygen. So I think we can pull off this additional claim without too much difficulty. That lets us go ahead and add... We're going to add a solar panel here. Hopefully we'll be able to pay down some debt with that. I don't really want to sell carbon, but I guess I will. Dust storm, of course. Of course there's a dust storm when he's got both of them. Whatever. Well, he can do that. Power is that insane right now. It's almost tempting to go ahead and do one of these for the moment. There we go. Alright. The mule is still active. Making some progress here and there. Let's go ahead and grab a quick and fast worker stim pack, aka an adrenaline boost, because we actually like real names and not nonsense like that. Okay. And the power's kind of going alright. As we can see, once they're both online, they are making something for us. And a bit more than the carbon was in particular, although carbon has jumped up in price to $53. So we'll want to hop back into that before too long. Alright, nice little EMP down onto Clark. So I was waiting on this thing. I was really hoping I would be able to hit it. Well, thankfully that's not going to affect me too badly, but... I think we just sit here and wait. Carbon hopped down to $20. That's interesting. I suppose our robotic player sold off a giant chunk of it or something. Let's check what everybody's got down. I haven't really done that yet. Oh wow, this boosted power. That's pretty nuts. So we'll go ahead and sell down enough to grab, I think, a power surge. Oh, give me that for 6. Nope, not gonna happen. That was more than enough for a power surge, but whatever. We're just going to slam those tiles with a power surge to kind of help out with this whole situation. Aluminum is just so expensive. I wish there were mutinies available right now. It would be so nice if there were mutinies available right now. Oh well. So nighttime means we're not making any power because our wind power is frozen, but oh well, that's just the way of it, isn't it? We have a lot of potential cash. We don't have a lot of cash floating around, but there's potential for money to be made in certain places here. I was really wanting to adrenaline boost our solar panels, I'll be honest. That was the thing that I really, really wanted to do. I think I might just grab this claim. Situation that we're in right now, I can get down another glass furnace very easily. Might kill glass a bit much. It also leaves us without silicon income all of a sudden. But there aren't any really better options, I don't think. And we can always move these tiles around later into even steel. Steel's ridiculously good right now. Okay, now we go ahead and grab, I believe, a goon squad, and we're gonna hit one of these. That was kind of the wrong way to do that, but whatever. I should have really gooned this tile if I was going to boost that tile, but I didn't want to boost this guy because carbon is ridiculously expensive right now. Let's see. Let's go ahead and get out of these wind turbines since that dust storm is over. We didn't really get to make use of that very well. We got frozen on 2 of our boosted tiles, which sucks. That freeze is super low. That was interesting. Oh, because thinking machines, of course. Sorry. Of course we have thinking machines. Let's go ahead and hit the upgrade. It's expensive, but I don't know what else to do with any of our cash right now. Turn these off. And then what? Grab an EMP, grab an adrenaline boost. Grab an EMP, sure, why not? Aluminum's the single most expensive thing out there right now. I think chems make money, technically. So I guess we'll go into some chem production. The other option is to just go into electronics. The robotic player's already in them, and it's not making him a whole lot of money right now, honestly. Let's see. Go ahead and throw down that engineering lab. Then we've got 3 claims left we have to figure out what to do with. We have way too much water, so I'm going to go ahead and just turn the water pump off. Carbon is real valuable right now. We could go into a little extra carbon.
Robotic colony expanded.
We could just go into steel. Steel popped up right there. Do I just take this guy? Oh, seriously? Carbon scrubbing's going to pop up right now? You going to give them carbon scrubbing? Whatever. Whatever. It's fine, I guess. Not mad. Just disappointed. So we're only on HQ level 4, and I already ran myself out of space, mostly because of this quarry that I let Clark have, which I never should have done. Bradbury did get to attacking Herbert, but I don't think Herbert's out of it just yet, so hopefully we can mostly get away with ignoring that. I am tempted by a patent office. But an engineering lab is more straightforward and reasonable in a lot of ways, so I think that's what I'm going to go with. 36,000 for carbon scrubbing is probably worth it, if we're being honest. I'm tempted to do this. I'm just going to do it. I can move it into power later if I absolutely have to. Let's go ahead and make the money while it's there to be made. Do I just go into full chem production right here? Do I take this carbon tile too? Do I go that nuts? I think I'm going to go that nuts. Take that many resources away from my base. It's risky. It's dangerous. But it might work.
The black market is online.
Okay, so what are we looking at for Offworlds? I never checked this game. Offworlds are garbage. And I mean like beyond garbage. I mean dead. And chems are actually the best, so looking to an Offworld is not really going to help out a whole lot right now. Oh, don't do that. Buy that back up. Let's see. I'm still sitting on an EMP. I could grab a hologram at some point and pop it down. Maybe even just do one of those for the fun of it. Hey, it's a chem lab, look. It's totally doing the chem thing. Not making money at all, I promise. Just ignore it. Why is my stock price so bad compared to theirs? I have more in assets. Oh, stocks owned. That makes sense. It's all stocks owned. That's totally understandable. I do not own any stocks. So I'm making decent money, but I need 300,000 to buy somebody. Is what the situation that I'm looking at right now. So it still might be a better idea to upgrade than to push for a buy, because I just don't see a buy happening anytime soon. Wow. We barely got away with that one, didn't we? So let's go ahead and upgrade. Carbon is still super expensive. I guess we could have upgraded our carbon production here. I'm going to upgrade chems again, just because we've already been upgrading chems. I think that's the best thing to do, to go ahead and finish those upgrades. But let's see, let's just go ahead and throw down some glass furnaces in here. Then I've got 2 claims left. I have no idea what to do with those. No idea whatsoever, actually. I'm just stuck. It's because I bought all these extra claims. I got used to not buying extra claims, and suddenly they're available this game, and it's like, what do you do with those extra claims? I don't know. Let's go ahead and turn that back on. It's almost certainly fine. Making decent money. Superconductor would be okay. I do have the option of transitioning out of all this power, which I haven't taken yet. but still might not be a bad idea. The trick is figuring out what to put down in place of it, because so little is actually worth money right now, or even worthwhile to make in any way. Chems are there, but mostly because we're upgrading them. Like, the carbon is still so expensive. I don't know if I want superconductor that badly. I've got 2 claims left. What do I do with 2 more random claims here? I could just throw them down out here as farms, I guess. Although dust storms have been pretty prevalent this game. And so maybe we do electrolysis reactors instead. Just there and there. Try and make that work. Now I think I'm going to start buying up some of my own stock, actually. That's what I would like to do. How are Kim's doing? Oh, Clark's buying my stock too. That's unfortunate. I was hoping to get this done before anybody was paying attention. Shouldn't have sold all that water. And I kind of ran myself out of money somehow. I guess it's because I tried to upgrade, and then chems, or sorry, carbon, is so ridiculous that it just didn't work. Shouldn't have upgraded, I suppose. Should have bought my stock first. I did not think I was in this much trouble. But it turns out I am. Clark has way too much money over there. I've got to do something about that. A lot of it's this electronics factory, or the electronics factory trio that he's got going on. And I wish I could counter that somehow, but electronics factories just aren't good for me to use yet. I guess they're kind of moving that direction. So I could try and do something about it. It's expensive to make the transition now, though. I'd like to secure my stock if I can. Those are still the best. I think I can do the most to him by shutting... No, these are fine. These are good. We'll shut those down. That's just fine. He finished some upgrades. And he wasn't upgrading electronics, which is what I thought he would do. He's upgraded partially electronics and then partially chems. He hasn't gone straight one way or the other.
Scientific colony expanded.
So I need to get rid of this power and figure out something else to do with those tiles. I think we did want to do the electronics, which is starting to be a bit more valuable. So we'll go ahead and make that transition now. And then I can move my power out to further locations, potentially. At some point, I can scrap... What can I get rid of and put down power instead? I think I needed these electronics factories. I don't think there's any question about that. Oh, would you leave me alone? Nope, there's no more stock for me to get. That's sad. I guess I'll start buying his stock, although I'm still in a bad way right now. I don't know if I'm making enough money to press on through. I can't make an off-world transition happen. Off-worlds are just too expensive. That combined with the fact that off-worlds are bad. Kind of good reasons to avoid making that transition. Yeah, the electronics really aren't doing a lot for us. We could have actually left them as power, but what I'm going to do actually is scrap out of the glass and move it into power. We just let that go for 9,000 while I was trying to make this transition. I think he bid himself up, which is the best way to kill good players in terms of auctions, because they'll hear the sound and then they'll keep going with whatever they're doing. And then they lose the auction. And it's like, oh, I didn't have as much time as I thought I did. Because you have it in your head how much time that little click gives you, right? You just know in your head, okay, well, that's worth that amount. I'm going to try and raise my stock price by buying into Bradbury. Hopefully this will force Clark to defend Bradbury. But we'll just see what happens. Is his stock price? No, his stock price is headed down at the moment. Oh, what? Deal with it, jerk. I'm buying you. Get over it. Make sure these are active still. They're still running just fine. I'm wondering how he's the dumbest, but whatever. I mean, if he wants to be, he can be. I'm not going to argue. Turn those off, because we killed them. Water's actually doing okay right now. I'm tempted to move all these on into water for the time being. Transitions are fairly cheap for me right now. Carbon's fairly inexpensive. Power is fantastic. I really should be making more power. This guy's making plenty of power. There's a solar flare, though. That's going to help out quite a lot. Let's see, I've already got a lot of defense set up. Let's go ahead and just grab something offensive. So those are burning money. It's almost tempting to network virus those, but they're so well upgraded. It doesn't lose him almost anything. There, he finally moved out of them anyway. These are boosted. We should really shut those down if we can. We'd only hit one tile. Upsetting. I think those electronics might actually win it for him, That combined with his ridiculously high stock price from owning so many stocks and so many people. 284 is what we need to buy out Bradbury, which might just have to be our current goal. So Electronics is still making money, but not very well. Do we make the Offworld transition becomes the question. Like right here and now. Do we make that transition? Do we think it'll be worthwhile? I think it might be at this stage of the game. It's not too expensive. It's very expensive, but it's not overly expensive. It also lets us sell carbon off for a little while. Maybe get something done there. I'm going to scrap out of these and go into, I think, electrolysis here. That was so expensive because I just put down an Offworld. I should have thought that through a bit better. These are losing money because of what we did with the Offworld. I don't want to move them around unless I go into steel. Steel is the only thing I can transition into right now because it's the only thing inexpensive enough to make that transition. So we're upgrading carbon production just fine. What am I going to be sending Offworld? I think it might have been chems. Chems are 364. Yeah, it's got to be chems, or water is actually better. Okay, so water is what we're going to send with this Offworld. It's not under a goon. I guess I'll fix that. That's really expensive, though. It's almost going to have to catch something in order to be worthwhile. Okay, shortage in power is on the way. Oh, this is expensive if I do it. Doing it. I gotta be careful about debt. I think I'm not taking enough risks here in terms of debt, and that's gonna kill me. We have good silicon coming in. We still have good aluminum coming in. It's not as good as we could have had, but it's still decent aluminum coming on in. Let's see. Chems are expensive again. I really should have moved into those instead of making electrolysis, or I should have just left them there, kind of predicting that would happen. They would pop back up at some point. Let's go ahead and upgrade our oxygen production. No, let's upgrade power. Do we just upgrade power? I think we just upgrade power. Let's do that. Let's pay down debt so it's done and we're making money on our power for the time being. We are making a decent amount on power. I mean, 1,500 is not bad. Could buy an extra claim. Still not really interested. A network virus could be helpful at this stage of the game. If somebody makes one little slip up... Oh, he's already got 2 Offworlds down. That's problematic. But we are back in chems, making brilliant money in the chems. Absolutely brilliant money in the chems. And they're frozen. And we caught a dirty rat trying to break our stuff with a network virus. Why would he try a network virus, my Offworld? I don't understand that at all. This is a big kind of issue right now that we've got going on. That's what I get for planting in a crater. It's kind of just life, I guess. So now we're just sitting here not doing much of anything, aren't we?
The black market is online.
Now we could upgrade power a bit more. We're not making any power right now. Go figure. And Clark's halfway to buying us, which means we're basically dead. We're actually basically dead right now. And there's unfortunately not much to do about it, I think. Aluminum has finally crashed, so we're not getting any more out of that market. Silicon is going to be on the way down. Carbon's super, super cheap. He went into 2 Offworlds. I didn't realize he had gone into 2 Offworlds. That's been causing us serious, serious problems. Although it looks like we're in 2 Offworlds because of that hologram that we've just had sitting there the entire time. So that's interesting. But we're still just completely dead. There's no way. Well, he pulled it off. It was a bit of an odd game in a lot of ways, but this electronics production might carry him through. That's what I get for planting down here. I'm just getting EMP'd to death and there's nothing I can do about it. Because I planted where I needed to as a scavenger. Oh well. That's gonna be GG. I don't even know what we can buy or do about any of this. I could throw a network virus. See, this is what I hate, and this is something that I think needs to be resolved. There are no tools in this game, in this particular game, for fighting back against an Offworld. There are no good tools for fighting an Offworld. There's no dynamite and there's no mutiny. And I've always thought that's kind of a problem. Personally, that's kind of just my opinion on it. I don't like that. I want to see tools for combating an Offworld available, besides just freezing it. I can't believe I let this tile go. That was such a huge mistake. And it's a big part of what cost me this game, letting this tile go. I should have just claimed it. It was so important long term, and I knew that. We should get bought in just a moment here. We are extremely valuable for Clark to buy. He secures all of his stock, half of Bradbury's stock. He can eventually push that into a buy on Bradbury. So it is definitely the move he should make. There it is, finally. Took long enough. If the video feed is stuttering, I'm sorry, that's on your end and or your connection to Twitch. Nothing to do with me. Well, we sold a lot of power. We actually did very similarly to Clark that game. It was really close, but he got into the Offworlds a bit more effectively than we did. He probably used them a bit more effectively too. He made a lot on electronics, having to buy up a lot of steel. The scientists were not doing a whole lot this game. I'm wondering what was going on there. And unfortunately, this tile really killed us. We couldn't get the adjacency bonuses down, which means we couldn't make the production happen that we wanted to. And then we've had two scientists in the corner just sitting there fighting it out and keeping all kinds of prices low. So nothing could actually be made for the most part. A lot of our money, I don't know how so many of us sold so much power. And power stayed that high. I know it shorted once, but seriously? Can I play team game? I don't know. I kind of want to do some team games, but on the other hand, I hate how we weren't about even on Carbon. Carbon scrubbing was really painful that game. Anyways, about team games, I don't know if we're going to do, or if, I don't know about team games at this point. So Year-End's going to clean it up as Robotic this game. He played it out well for what it was. It was kind of frustrating that we were having trouble making money, but the thing about team games is there aren't proper tools in the system for team games at this point. Like there's no team chat or anything of that nature, and team chat would go a long way toward fixing team games. So Year-End pulls it off as Robotic. He got a nice found going. More importantly, he made that transition into 2 Offworlds. We could only make 1 Offworld. He made 2. So he ran away with that one pretty easily at that point. Power did a lot for him that game. Power did a lot for us that game, though. And then this electronics production, which was double mutinied. I would have loved to be able to throw dynamites or mutinies at these to tear through them. Dynamites in particular. I hate it when I don't have access to dynamite. What I probably should have done was just networked virus them to knock them out, so we could more easily combat that electronics production. But he had strong tiles, and he made strong use of them. Have to hand him that. Alright. Let's see. We can even check tech, although I don't think that played as much of a role that game, because prices stayed low all the time. Like, all the time, because we had 2 scientists in there who were just keeping prices low the entire time. It was interesting. I did not want to observe. I wanted to hop on out of here.